You guys listened to episode 82. It was on Crazy as This Crazy Does, The Life of the Serial Killer by John H. Mudgett. So this is a book that we're actually going to be doing in one of our book clubs. So if you guys are intrigued by notorious serial killers such as Ted Bundy and the Zodiac Killer, then this is the horror book for you. Plus, not only that, guys, we're giving away some free copies as well.
So if you are interested in a book that blends fiction and history and does it in a way that you have to stop and think as to which parts are true, check out this book.
Yes. So that is Crazy Is As Crazy Does by John H. Mudgett.
So you know how it's coming to be fall time, and it's always fun to listen to a little extra spooky, scary story?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, with Indie Drop-In Scary Time, you can find all of the best spooky episodes of spooky podcasts. Just today, I was listening to Haunted Amusement Parks by Guide to the Unknown, and they were talking about like all of the different deaths and creepy things that have gone on at different amusement parks.
Oh, hey, actually, that sounds really interesting. I think I'm gonna have to check that one out.
You all should check it out. Anytime you need something spooky in your life, check out Scary Time by Indie Drop-In.
That's my best friend, Brie.
Hi.
Hey there, how you doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there, that's for sure. Another day in paradise, as we used to say in California.
I was going to say for a second, wait, don't you live in Utah? I'm not sure Utah's what I define as paradise.
No, not all.
Hey, paradise is what you make of it, you know. Paradise can be right here at home. That's what paradise is to me.
All right, well that's fair enough. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. So how's everybody doing?
We're good, yeah. I don't want to start work. I have to start work Wednesday.
Well,
I don't want to. I just want to do this podcast 24/7. Have a story to tell, but first I want to know a little bit more about you and Maureen, and what was she like, and what was your guys' relationship like?
So I met Maureen in Oakland, California. She was like a relationship coach, right? And I had got turned on to her, and because I seemed to just like attract one toxic relationship after another, and I was like, dude, something.
That sounds like me, huh, Brie?
it does sound like you.
Yeah, and for me and Maureen, it was love at first sight, and we really never left each other's side from there. And she, I was having a lot of issues with my son and his mom. They lived in Utah, and basically Maureen was like, "I will help you get your life in order. I will move back to Salt Lake with you. I want to do it as your wife." I was
wow.
Like, yeah, she was incredible, and she was and is the only woman that I have been with currently that was a real team player. I mean, she was a spaz, and she she loved to fight like that. She told the counselor that she fought the sport. That I was like, dude, but she was dedicated to the partnership, and that was the first time that I knew that I could 100% trust somebody so deeply. I could count on her. She got things done. I would drive her crazy because I procrastinate, and like she was not a procrastinator. It was really good for me because she, she'd be up at 6 a.m. vacuuming, and So even though it was like kind of a nag, it really helped develop me as a person, because she wasn't afraid to ride my ass. And so that was as far as like the qualities about her was, first off, was she was absolutely beautiful. I mean, the
Yeah,
girl, she was like a walking piece of art. She had gone to Burning Man, I think 9 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
That sounds
hardcore
fun.
too. Yeah, I don't know how my cut. She's more hardcore than me. She's told me there's 1 year she literally she just hopped a ride with someone. She like slept in a trunk.
Oh my gosh.
Not even lying. I'm like, I went to Burning Man for a week and I was like, I'm ready to leave. But yeah, so Burning Man's all about self-expression, really truly being the dynamic you without any no holds barred. And she brought all that into our relationship. Like her style, like in the house, was so attractive. Like, I mean, she taught me style. She taught me that I dress the way I dress now because of her. She taught me to be able to think outside my box when it came to style and expression of myself and who I was. And like, our house was so cool. I mean, she knew, and then she could do it on a budget too. She was always at the dollar store, and I mean, our house was just like, it was like a mini rave in that house. It was just so full of color and art and cool stuff everywhere. And it was just a joy to live with her. She was very people personable. She's just like me. We're both social butterflies. We both happen to be involved in the same music groups. Like, I was just, my music group was in San Francisco and primarily in Salt Lake, and hers was in Denver and San Francisco. So we actually had a lot of the same friends. It was really interesting how it meshed together when we moved to Salt Lake, because she was really upset at moving to Salt Lake when it all kind of hit at home, because she didn't have any friends here. And I'm just like, gig is like electronic music. That is one thing that I have the best access in the city to, And so when I introduced her to all my friends in the electronic music scene, I know everybody, like I was here at the birth of this thing, and so she just immediately clicked. She made friends with everybody that I knew. So every time, she wanted to go out to the bars, or really to clubs, and she wanted to dress up. She was at burlesque night. She was at, all these different functions. She's always very active in the community, and she made friends extremely fast with all my friends. And that was like a dream come true. She's dedicated to my son. That was something that tried very hard to be a really great stepmother.
No, I definitely, I could see that in some of her pictures that she posted. I mean, she obviously thought of your son as her own and treated him as so.
And the family did too. Her family welcomed us with
Awesome.
open arms, and they were very, very generous people. They were very big on gift giving, and like her mom and her were very close. She was very close with all of her family, which was cool. Another thing I really admired about her, she had a lot of girlfriends, and that to me says a lot of, and so, she had a lot of friends from junior high and high school, which to me was very, very attractive. It shows that she keeps her relationships, God, it took us 2.5 years I had like 9 companies. I had 4 different houses, 3 different states. Like, my farm in California was just, it took us months and months and months to clean. It was, because you have all this land, it's just so easy to be like, oh, I'll just put it over here for a little while, then you forget about it for years, go on, and so I had to get that place put together. We had to wrap a place up in Denver. We had to go, we had our little apartment I was renting here in Salt Lake to wrap up. Then we had my renters in the house we owned that we were going to move into. And then I had multiple businesses that just needed to be unraveled, ones that I just had no more interest in. And then I had, things I did have. It was just so I had business in Nevada, California, Oregon, and multiple different areas. We had to wrap all that up. And then we moved to Salt Lake, and it felt like this huge breath of fresh air. We got all brand new furniture, because I would have been happy living in that house for the rest of my life. That was it. I'd have been fine with it. And so was she. We had everything then we decided that Maureen was going to go to school. And so, I was like, okay, you go to school and I'll handle all the bills and you can focus on school. And she did just that. I admire the hell out of her. She had almost straight A's. And she was focused on that damn school, man. And it was crazy. Before that, me and her were constantly arguing. We argued a lot about my son's mother because she was causing us tons of trouble. I mean, she's just a troublemaker. We got to this point where I was so fed up with the fighting that I was like, I want a divorce, straight up. I remember I was in California and I was around some really important people, and she wanted to talk about something that was really it really just was not important, not nearly as important as the people that I was, about to go to a meeting with. And she's just screaming profanities at me, and my business guys are just like, is that your wife? I'm all so after that I was like, you know what, I'm done. I cannot fight anymore, and it just really sucks, but I've had enough. And then 5 or 6 days later, she had come back and it was just like, look, found this marriage counselor. She came highly recommended. Would you be willing to go to counseling with me before we divorce and see if this works, see if we can't figure this out? And I said, well, you know what? I didn't get married to get divorced. And this is it. This is to say, hey, we tried it all and we just weren't meant to be. And I told her, I was like, hey, I'll give this 90 days. I will give it my all and truly commit. Because both of us had done a lot of counseling, individually, and both of us knew the benefit that counseling can give when you really take it serious and you really bring it into your life and really utilize it. It's incredible what it can be.
I completely agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done counseling on my own. Me and my husband go once in a while too. My son goes. It's definitely something that everyone can benefit from. I'm talking to you, Brie, your family.
Oh, I never said I couldn't benefit from it. I just said I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, well, neither is your wife. So
yeah, it's the thing is, this counselors, a lot of counselors, they really spoiled the mood. It's first they make you think that, because you go to counseling, something must be wrong with you. Well, that's partially right. There's something wrong with all of us.
Yep, we're all fucked up.
We're all messed up, man, and that's okay. That's all right. And I think every single person on this planet needs a counselor just to go vent to, man. Somebody that's not your friend, that's not gonna, that's non-biased. It's not gonna, they're not gonna take your side just cause. But it's somebody that you can trust with confidence, that you're gonna be able to tell your deepest, darkest to, and they're gonna help you. Yeah, and that's where I agreed. I said, hey, you know what? I'll give it 90 days. If it's the same or worse, then we're gonna know. And I was like, if it's even a little bit better, then we'll give it another 90 days and see, and she's like, that's all I could ever ask for. And so we went and that first month, we went twice a week for that first month. It was rocky. And I would tell that to anybody that's about to go to marriage or couples counseling, that just expect the first month to be rocky, because you got to bring up all the old stuff that you're like, well, I just accepted that it was okay. No, dude, it's not okay. It needs to be discussed and then closed. So when people fight years down the road, they get upset because the shoe got left out. That's because none of the issues from the past have been truly resolved and forgiven and let go. And so you got to go through that rocky point, which is about a month. But then after that, you get to ground zero and you can start working on day-to-day things and communication and what the true issue of things are. And that counselor we had, she's a miracle. And I never thought there'd be something because, Maureen is just so fiery, man. So fiery, but but she got Maureen to realize that she had an anger issue. And once it clicked, she immediately signed up for anger management classes immediately.
Awesome.
And so we were doing the marriage counseling. We were doing individual counseling with the same marriage counselor. And then she was going to anger management. A year and a half later, we never fought, ever. Like ever. And if there was anything that got heated, like we just knew what to do. It was simple. We knew that, like, okay, we're getting to this point. This topic is important. Let's make an appointment with the counselor. We're going to shelf it till then. And we had done it enough times to know that every single time we brought it to the counselor in that way, it would always be resolved and everybody would walk away with a smile.
Yeah. I mean, my counselor's even told me before, like, you know what, just put a pin in it and just, let it go for now. And then we'll talk about it.
Because now I've done so much study on like relationships, and I'm doing a lot of work in boundaries and stuff like that. And like one of the things I recommend everybody before they decide to commit to anyone to have they do, and then their partner needs to write out their list of boundaries of
Definitely
boundaries and compromisable, meaning they got a little wiggle room, and then non-compromisable, like, nope, you do this, the relationship's done, it's over, boom. And one of my boundaries is going to be like, straight up, I want to get a relationship counselor from the very beginning when like everything is good. Then you and you got to go once a month, like maybe there's something that you want to say to your partner. You don't know how to bring it up or blah, blah, blah. But then when you get in front of the counselor, you're in the safe space of like we got the mediation, then you can bring it up and then you guys can just work it out. And then you start with this level of support and that support's there instead of like letting things go to a catastrophic level. I say start when everything's good.
That's definitely a good advice there. You said that things were starting to go great again. And that night that everything happened too, you were out celebrating.
Yeah, I was like, we have felt for about a month, we have felt like really this calm over the storm where like we knew what to do when there was a heated conversation between the two of us. Maureen had graduated school. She was working at the salon and she was developing a business. So she had purpose in life, which was major. She didn't have time to fight anymore, what we had thought when it came to Alex's mom, like to her situation, it seemed like things had started to calm down, but we also knew that everything, when things started to calm down, that seemed like, the calm before the storm. But things that we had started to get to a point where we knew how to handle intense, crazy situations from Alex's mom, because there's one thing after another. There's just like, oh my God, like she's like terrorizing our life. And we had worked it out once again through the counselor on how to deal with her terrorizing our life, because she would purposely go out of her way to make our lives a living hell, because she hated the fact that Maureen was living, and she never will admit this, but I know that's why. She hated the fact that she was not living the life that Maureen was. She hated that. And that's why I think she had such a grudge against Maureen, because Maureen was extremely good to Alex. And she loved that little boy. And, if Alex's mom, if she had a man that loved Alex the way that Maureen loved Alex, I'd be super stoked. But cool, another solid dude in his life, like that's awesome. Good for them, like I'll always be dad, but that's good that he's got another great male influence to bring things that I can't show him. That's awesome, because it's all about Alex, not about me. And my businesses were picking up. Everything was looking great all the way around. Bills had stabilized. I had paid all kinds of stuff off. Like I had finally got to this point I didn't have to travel anymore. Like, we're looking at this springtime's coming around. Like, we're going to be spring skiing, and, we're making plans for the summer to get the boat rocking. And we got this, we're looking at adding new things to the house, and our house was totally set up. Our friend's life was established. Our freaking, all of this stuff on California had been squared up. All the businesses had been done, unraveled, and made sense of. Everybody was on good terms. We had finally accomplished what seemed to be the unaccomplishable. Like literally, it just seemed like so overbearing and so much. It was insane how much work it took. I could have never done it without Maureen. They're even motivating me, there's so much. I just was unmotivated. I was like, I don't want to do any of it. And without Maureen there to motivate me and light the fire under my butt, like I wouldn't have been able to do it. And so, yeah, I just got out of this really important business meetings. We were talking about launching this new CBD energy drink that we had come up on, and it was just amazing. We were talking to big investors. Me and my partner were talking to big investors in the city. Everybody was interested. An incredible platform. Maureen was busy, and I left. It was a big meeting. I mean, it was just an exciting day from the second I woke up, because we had been planning this meeting. I get out of the meeting, and I mean, like, people are excited. People are just freaking excited. Everything's going great. Well, I get a hold of Maureen, and she's like, "Oh, I'm over at Southtown Mall, just hanging out." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come over there and hang out with you, all right?" And I was like, "You know what, man? I'm in the mood to go out and celebrate tonight. We should go out to Takashi." And she's like, "Oh, I'm down." So I go meet her at Southtown Mall, and we're just like freaking, dude, like the feeling that we had, we fell back in love again. You know what I mean? Like from being out of love, from in love to out of love to back in love, and we were back in love on the right terms too. Like no amount of money can purchase that. The experience that we went through together and did it as a team and made it. You cannot buy it. You have to live it. We both knew it. The feeling that her and I had together was like, we just knew, like, we're like, dude, wow. Like, and so we went to the mall, we're just buying some new clothes, just having a grand old time, and went back home, and just like knowing we had the whole rest of the evening, just doing whatever we wanted, still a little early, and it was we're just chilling and like just laughing and having a good old time. And then we went to Takashi, and like got there a little early and went to the little bar next door that Takashi owns, and they had sake that was like it only comes around once a year for 2 weeks in the springtime, and we like happened to get there when they had it. We didn't even know, and it was just we're both sake lovers, and then they got the best sushi in the States that Takashi does. And, we're just getting these fancy rolls, and we're just talking to everybody, just having a grand old time. And, we walk out of there just like continuing our good evening. And then we went over and we called our friend, our boy, DJ Diz. And we went, it's fun. I went and had lunch with Diz yesterday. Yeah, and we were talking about this thing here, and so we went over there, and she had made good friends with his wife, and we were just like, just so happy. I just remember it was just laugh, and then it was crazy because we were like, Diz, come home, come back with us, let's chill, blah. And he's like, man, I got stuff to do, blah, and then so he didn't come with us. He contemplated it, which I'm so glad he didn't come with us. Or we may have another casualty on our hands. So thank God. Yeah, so we drove home, and the rest of our lives started there. I don't know if you want me to get into what happened when I got home.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever you're comfortable saying, whatever you want.
So yeah, we got home, and we we opened the garage and drive the car in the garage, and I leave the car running while I shut the garage, wait for it to shut. Yeah, I opened turn off the security alarm with my telephone on the app. We had walked in the house, and Maureen took a right, and she went up. There's a little like 3 stairs, and it heads right to the front door. That's where the other alarm system is. Or not the other alarm, but that's where the main panel to the alarm system is. She hit the panel and got the alarm back turned on from there. Then she went up the stairs to get changed or whatever. And then I went into the kitchen, and I'm just kind of hanging out between the island of my kitchen and the cabinets. And then all of a sudden I hear these explosions above my head. And I was just like, it was so surprising. I thought that Maureen, because we were having so much fun, I thought Maureen threw some firecrackers at me, because her dad kind of does that. He likes party poppers and things like that, and that's what I thought what it was. But I was like, what the hell did you do that for? Because I couldn't see anything. Like my eyes were really truly blind. And I was like, they're watering. I couldn't get them to stop watering, and I was like bleeding everywhere. I was like, what the hell? And then I see Maureen come to the top of the awning, because you can stand on the top of the stairs and see down. And she comes. I remember coming there and looking at me. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I didn't throw anything at you. I'm like, why did you do that? She's like, I didn't do anything. I was like, what? What do you mean? I was like, she's like, dude, should I call 911? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And so the next thing I know is that I blacked out from there. So I don't remember anything until I woke up on the ground, and I couldn't see anything. I was blind. I was like, dude, I'm blind. I can't see anything. And then like I could hear Maureen in the background. She was like, Jeff, I'm hit. I'm like, hit with what? And she's just like kind of moaning over that. And I'm like, what the hell? Because I couldn't see. It was like a static TV. And then all of a sudden my right eye, the vision, it was weird. It's crazy. The vision in my right eye all of a sudden came back. It was like, and then I had like this vision in my right eye. And so then I looked down, and I'm literally like laying in this like pool of blood and water. I was like, what the hell? And I was just I go to stand, because the security system is just like, and I'm just like, what? Because I had no idea what happened. And so I go and I stand up, and I go to take a step, and I just collapse to the ground, and I like look down, and my hip, my left butt cheek was like exploded. I was just like, what the fuck? Like you go from, what I mean? Talk about a freaking change in environment. And so like, I was like, obviously just, I'm tripping. I army crawl to the front door. And my hope was that I knew that the security system, that if you press buttons or do something, you can get on with someone live will get on. So I like pull myself up the front door, and I start pressing a few buttons, and like I couldn't figure it out. And so instead of keep trying, because I was like, dude, I don't want to shut it off. I figured the cops are coming eventually. That's what would happen when the alarm goes off. So I opened the door for him so they didn't have to kick it in. And I start screaming bloody murder out the front door. It's like, oh, it's like, and then I heard my phone ring. And so I dropped to the ground, and I army crawled back to the kitchen. And then I pulled myself up the counter, and I got my phone. And then I fell back down on the ground, and I like propped myself up against the oven, and then I called 911, and they're just like, is this so and so on 916 East? And I'll say, yeah. They're like, okay, the officer should be there in 30 seconds. Paramedics are 2 minutes behind him. So they're like, what's going on over this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm bleeding everywhere. There is a ton of blood. My wife's on the ground. I don't know what's going on with her. I just don't know. I don't have any idea what happened. They're like, okay, just I need you to stay calm. Just stay on the phone with us. They're coming. They'll be right there. The next minute I knew this, now this time, I think I was on probably minute like 16 of bleeding out, and I'm bleeding, I could see my bone in my hip. And we're talking, I'm losing a tremendous amount of blood. And then the cop comes in, the first one, and he's got his gun drawn. He's like walking around. I'm thinking like, why has he got his gun drawn? So what the hell? And then he goes straight to Maureen. Like, hello, like how could it be, any worse than this? And then the paramedics came, the first ones, and they brought the stretcher right to her, and all 3 or 4 of them like went straight to work on her. And then I was like, guys, hello, like one of them came up to me. They're like, okay, they checked out. They're like, look, we gotta work on your wife. I'm like, what's going on with her? Like, just stay calm. We gotta work on her first, and then we'll come back to you. There's another ambulance be here in just a few minutes. So I'm just laying up. They get her on the stretcher and they pull her out of there. And then pretty much at the same time, the other ambulance had got there, and then they had brought the stretcher in and they put me on there. And they had I mean, at this time too, my adrenaline really had worn out, and the pain had started to overpower my endorphins and my adrenaline. And I mean, it was so excruciating. I'm just screaming down, and they bring me to the ambulance, and they just start, hooking up all these tubes. I'm just like, give me something I cannot, it was so painful. And I'm just like, what is going on with my wife? What is going on with her? And they're just like, stay calm, dude, stay calm. We're going to take care of you. I'm like, what's going on with her, And this doctor kind of looks at me and he's like, she's dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of not a delicate or gentle way to find that out, is it?
No, but I guess he just figured give it to him raw. I mean, because it was right then is when the drugs kicked in, because the next thing I knew is I woke up in the hospital. And they had already done a half dozen surgeries, I believe, already when I woke up, because I had been hit multiple times in the head, in the torso, spinal cord area, and then in the hip. And then I had, sustained major injuries everywhere, like I had. Okay. So basically when I got shot in the head, I had pellets in my brain. There's pellets still scattered through my face. I had multiple teeth shot out, and I had one pellet. It went through my left eye, the cornea. It shattered my lens. It detached my retina, and then it went through my nasal cavity, and is currently resting on the optic nerve of my right eye. And it's literally too dangerous to take out. It would blind me, and it's unexplainable. How I'm not blind in both eyes. They're just like, you don't understand. The doctors it's medically unexplainable, scientifically unexplainable. I had about eight pellets that hit my jugular. None of them punctured, also unexplainable. I had a dozen or so pellets hit my esophagus, they were very concerned about that. And they wouldn't let me eat or drink anything for several days. Because if they were like, you'll have problems the rest of your life. And then they put me in this weird x-ray box thing and had me drink this dye and pulled me out. And they're like, you're the luckiest son of a bitch we ever met. You don't got no puncture wounds. Go ahead and eat something.
Wow.
Jeez.
I got hit. I had pellets in my heart. I had 4 lung contusions. They're like, dude, if you literally could get hit in a place in these organs, you got hit there that's not going to leave you maimed. They're like, it's unexplainable, especially the amount of times and the amount of places. Because I got hit, I had pellets in my stomach, kidney, liver. I had pellets that kind of littered my spinal cord. All of them being within a hairline distance of paralyzation. Like I should be dead, like period. But like to not be paralyzed 10 different ways, it's literally unexplainable. And then the shot that hit me in my hip, it had exploded my left butt cheek, giving me about 12 fractures in my hip, all which I needed no bone grafts. It healed naturally. And the pellets went around my sciatic nerve. Unexplainable, absolutely unexplainable. They're like, dude, you would have problems your entire life. Like you were going to be fine. It's like medically I'm one of the most unique patient ever went in IHC hospital. Unexplainable. Like the pellets had shredded my nerves in my thigh, but it was still where they hit. Like it all grew back. And like, yeah, I had 95 staples in my stomach where they had to go in there and they had to like get shit out of my lungs and some other places. And then I had 50 or so staples in my butt cheek because it just exploded. And so I had to go through having a wound vac. I mean, the pain was it's literally, it was literally undescribable. Like the wound vac where they had to have there's a tube wrapped around, a sponge wrapped around the edge of a tube, and they stuff it down in that hole, and then it's on a constant vacuum, and then every 3 days they got to get it out of there and clean it. But your nerve endings grow into that sponge, and so as they're pulling it out, it yanks out the new nerve endings, which is the most painful thing I've ever imagined. And then they after they clean it, then they take a scalpel and they got to stab you a bunch of times inside the wound to create fresh wounds, because that's, the new white blood cell count to heal it properly. And it literally, they had to do that every 3 days for 4 months. And like, I can't even begin to describe to you the excruciating pain that it was. It's like, yeah, they had me mainlined to fentanyl, and they were mainlined me to Dilaudid. They eventually mainlined me to ketamine. And when I got out of the hospital, they had me on Oxycontin, which I had to take religiously every 2 hours, like period, like wake up, take a pill, period, like do not miss a pill. Because if you did, the pain would start to set on, and it's just mind boggling. But by the time I had been in the hospital, and they had, within about 10 days, they had me out in rehabilitation. And I was not allowed to put any weight on that left leg. That was a humongous injury, was out on that leg. And then slowly but surely, I was able to, walk with a walker, and then move over to crutches. And I mean, I crushed my way out of there. And so I had to learn how to walk again over several months too. Because when my friend took care of me, I got muscle atrophy in my left leg from not being able to use it. So I had to rebuild my entire left leg and all the strength. And I went to yoga almost every day. It helped me get my strength back in my left leg. Like, I remember the first time I stood on that left leg by itself. I didn't get to go to Maureen's funeral because I was in the hospital. We threw a celebration of life here for her, which was pretty amazing, the turnout and the people that she touched. Yeah, they had to do multiple other surgeries on my eye just to get it stabilized. And they say that I might even be able to see again. I have to get a donor cornea and a new lens, and they have to clean some more trauma. They're like, dude, you can see color and light. They're like, you have a good chance of seeing again. So that's insane. And now I can go snowboarding, I go rock climbing, I go golfing. It's insanity. I mean, it's like the surgeon is like, not possible, not feasible. Out of 40,000 surgeries he has done, this is like one that is absolutely unexplainable. It's like, you should be dead. First and foremost, you should be dead. Bleeding out for 25 minutes. Yep, you should be dead. You have a better chance of winning the lottery than not dying. You have a better chance of winning the lottery twice in a row. Something like this happening, and not being paralyzed from the neck down, really, and never being able to regain ever. So I had to learn how to walk, talk, eat, bathe, sleep. I had to get off. This last July 17th was 2 years without an Oxycontin. That was tough. That was tough getting off those. The surgeon was like, "This is the last script I can write you." I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And he was like, "That's it. You need to make them stretch." And I was really worried. But I knew I probably could go to like a pain specialist or somebody that would give them to me. I mean, look at my injuries, but I was like, man, are you just going to be high on pain pills your whole life? Let's try this. And I started cutting back little by little, weaning off. I was down to eating half a pill in the morning, half a pill at night, and a bunch of Advil, migraine, and Celebrex and gabapentin. And then one day I said, screw it, I'm just gonna quit and do the next 2 weeks. It was dark, real dark, to get off that shit. But I did it, and I never looked back. And so that's about that.
All right. So this is going to end up being a two-parter.